couple of years ago, I had my first drive in a Formula Vee. It was an amazing experience and it left me wondering, I wonder what it would take to get into Formula Vee racing. So when the Lockett Family Racing Team invited me up here to the Wanneroo Raceway to have another go in their Formula Vee race car, I thought I'd try and find out. So what is Formula Vee? Well, these little single-seat open-wheel race cars run a 4-cylinder horizontally opposed air-cooled engine commonly found in things like the VW Beetle. They run that through a 4-speed manual gearbox. Now there are two classes of racing and they're determined by your engine size. So you have a 1200cc engine and a 1600cc engine. Now in terms of horsepower, the 1200s run about 60 horsepower and the 1600s run about 85 horsepower or thereabouts. Now that doesn't sound like a lot of horsepower, but if you combine that with the fact that your chassis dry weight is around 450 kilos, plus your butt is about an inch off the floor, it makes for some really exciting racing. But before I strap myself into one of these pocket races, I wanted to find out what it takes to get into the sport and how accessible it is for people like you and me. The Lockett Family Racing Team has been competing in Formula Vee for nearly 20 years. Initially known as Myles Lockett Racing, it was spearheaded by Myles Lockett himself, but in 2018 the racing baton was passed to his son Andrew, who has been successfully competing since he was 18 years of age. I sat down with him to find out more about the sport.
It's such a buzz. You're so low to the floor, so the sense of speed and being literally wheel to wheel with someone is just, it's so incredible. You don't get that feeling in tin tops, you're away from each other. It's just, you can't bang wheels, but that's the beauty of open wheel racing. It's so close and competitive, and the field is very close, especially being such a controlled category. So it's the perfect form of motorsport to get into, really. Dad, for as long as I know. What, you got your first car in what, 2002?
2002, yep.
There's photos of me in Dad's first car, back at the original place we lived in, and from there it's just a bug. I've always wanted to race, and having Dad do it for years and years and years is something you really want to do, and it's great to be able to work with Dad, getting this car at the front, and next year racing together will be really special. Well, I pay for race entries. Dad pays for all the repair bills, so you'd have to ask him.
To run one of these for a season competitively, I think we sort of budget for race entries, fuel, memberships, licences, all that sort of stuff, general maintenance, about $5,000, maybe less, depending on if you're having a good season. If you don't tear the car up or whatever, it can be cheaper, but if you start tearing cars up, start tearing motors up, then the sky's the limit, unfortunately. It's motorsport. If you have a trouble-free meeting, then it's a really, really cheap way to go. From the last meeting to this meeting, the only thing I did was change spark plugs and put fuel in it, start it up, that was it. So yeah, it's very, very, very cheap to run.
Do it. It's a great form of motorsport. We're a big family. We're always willing to help out. It's just fantastic. It's not overly expensive. It's probably the cheapest form of motorsport you can get into. So it's well worth having a look at, and we love having new people out here and getting this buzz. Come on down to the pits, we're happy to chat, and we'll run you through what is Formula Vee.
Okay, well now it's time for me to just get a taste of what it's like to send one of these Formula V's around the racetrack. So let's strap in and see if we can avoid making a total fool of myself.
Alright guys, I hope you can hear me. Here we go. I've literally got no space in here. Check for other traffic. Alright, we're good to go. Well, it's not very comfortable, I can tell you that. But it sure is visceral. The pedals are so close together. Oh, I think I've missed a gear. There we go. So we've got drum brakes on the front. Nice heel toe, Alex, not bad there. Alright, come out nice and wide. This is just such a raw driving experience. Unbelievable. This is just fantastic. Everything is shaking, my brain is shaking. It's hard to focus. Like my eyeballs are shaking in my head. The pedals are so close together. It's really hard to sort of distinguish where your feet are. But here we go, down the hill. Wow, the speed, the sensation of speed. Alright, here we go. Yes, yes! Oh, so close to the ground. Oh, this is exhausting, I tell you. I don't know how these guys do it. They need awesome fitness. Oh, I tell you what, you have to concentrate 110%. Mate, to be honest, I'm exhausted. Alright. Alright. Yeah, unfit.
Wow, what an experience, guys. The adrenaline is still pumping. If you ever get the chance to jump into one of these things, I highly, highly recommend it. It is such a raw driving experience, and everything is so visceral. You've got this noise behind your head. You know, your butt is an inch off the floor. The sensation of speed is fantastic. And the feedback that the car is giving you is just insane. You can feel everything that is happening. You know, because it's an open wheeler, you can see your front tires, you can hit that apex on the corners perfectly. It's just amazing. It allows you to push the envelope on every single lap just a little bit further and discover more of what the car can do. And I imagine that the guys that do this professionally really thrive on that, you know, finding those limits and just pushing a little bit further. Now, I was out there on my own pretty much, not interacting with any cars, but can you imagine what it's like to have 10 of these going around and you're nose to tail and wheel to wheel, the excitement would be insane. So highly recommend it. I loved every minute of that. If you're into driving at all and you love that raw, visceral experience, then something like this is definitely for you. So there you have it, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thanks to the Lockett Family Racing Team for inviting me out here to experience the rush and the adrenaline of driving one of these cars, and to find out that it's actually a lot more accessible than I first thought. With relatively low startup costs and low running costs, this controlled form of racing is an excellent way to step into the world of circuit racing, and who knows where it might lead to. I'll link the info in the description below, but if this has sparked your interest in any way, I really encourage you to reach out to your local Formula Vee community and see how you can actually get involved. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, leave me a comment, and of course, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.